sweat the technique. Don't sweat the technique. Let's trace the hits and check the file. Let's see who bit the dissect the style. I flip the script so they can't get filed. At least not now, it'll take a while. I change the pace to complete the beat. I drop the bass to MCs get weak. For every word they trace is a scar they keep. Cause when I speak, they freak to sweat the technique. I made my debut in '86 with a melody in a president's mix. And now I stay on target and refuse to miss. And I still make hits for beats, parties, clubs, and cars and jeeps. My underground sound vibrates the streets. MCs wanna beef, then I play for keeps. When they sweat the technique.
We're here today at the York Jam. This is the 30th anniversary for one of the longest standing Flatland events that I've known. You know what I mean? Like as growing up as a young kid in Pennsylvania, finding out that the most epic dudes that ever rode Flatland were in my state blew my mind. So when they started doing jams here, I tried to make it a thing to get out here every year. It didn't always work out, but I made it today, and here we are with Brett Downs, one of the infamous Plywood Hoods. This guy, I don't know what else to say, but we're going to talk to him a little bit about the York Jam and basically how it came along. Yeah. Brett, well, say hello to the people.
Hi, everybody. We basically started the York Jam in 1990. We always enjoyed going to the AFA contests and seeing our friends from around the country. Well, 1989, the AFA died, and we're like, where are we ever going to see our friends again? And we thought, well, why don't we just have a jam? So, you know, we literally made long-distance phone calls that you had to pay a ton for and wrote letters to people.
Writing letters, wow.
We picked a day in August of 1990 and said, be in York this weekend at our riding spot. Because the best part of a contest was always just seeing your buddies and jam circle in the parking lot.
100%. Getting to reacclimate yourself with all the people that you haven't gotten a chance to ride with since the last time.
Right. You could see what we're doing. We could see what you're doing.
Yes.
And we're like, the contest was actually more of a bother than it was worth.
Right.
We had to do that.
I got to go do my run.
But the real action was always in the parking lot of the hotel. So that's what we decided to do. And as far as I know, we were like the first people to ever do any kind of BMX jam where just get together, show up.
I believe that. Without having a contest or anything, there was no agenda at all. It was just people getting together and riding.
You don't have to pay to ride. You just show up and do it.
So let me tell you this. It's so amazing that you guys would open up your spot to everybody and just have everyone come and ride. Because, I mean, maybe you don't know because you're on the inside of it, but the Dorking in York video series was the biggest thing to everybody. You know what I mean? That was the first time we got to see a lot of the tricks that were being done, a lot of the riders that we'd never seen before, guys that we only see in magazines. And you guys always had like an amazing section of like features with different people, from Dave Mirra, who's obviously down, but then you got guys like Jay Miron, you got, you know, Lucky, you got Joe Rich, you know what I mean?
Taj,
all the dudes from the West Coast, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So it was awesome. And also seeing Kevin and seeing what he's doing, you know what I mean? Because he's like the nomad and nobody ever gets to see Kevin ride except for the videos. So for you guys opening up that spot and inviting everybody out there, it was like a dream come true for us, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm saying this as a fan.
Well, you know, thank you. I appreciate that. You know, we were very fortunate that we put out videos, you know, on the VHS tape, it said, you know, copy this for your friends, because we would.
Yes, absolutely.
So we, you know, it wasn't about making money. It was about, hey, let's show everybody our scene. You can see what we're doing. And we always were like, we want everybody to do this. And, you know, like the ECD guys started doing their own thing, and we were just as happy to get them. And Ellsbells and, you know, the Chenga guys started putting out videos. So and Baco. So it was good. We just wanted to share it. But one interesting thing about the videos, when we would film a video, everybody would have like, okay, I've got a couple things I want to get for the video. but 90% of the riding in the videos was what we did every day.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So while we would see the video at the premiere, and everybody would freak out, and we're like, well, yeah, I've been watching him do that for the last 2 months every day. Or, people would be so excited about the videos, and they talk so nostalgically now. And I filmed that. Or I remember that day, it was like 120 degrees. It was so hot.
See, that's the point I'm trying to make, as far as like you maybe not understanding how epic it is because you're on the inside and you get to see that every day, whereas most people don't. We would see pictures in the magazines and, it's a static image and we don't know what's going on. We don't know if it's a balance move or if somebody's hopping or if you're rolling forward, backwards, like what's going on. So when the videos came out, it was just like mind blowing. Like I remember in I forget which Dorking it is, but Kev's doing like a CrossFoot hitchhiker.
Yeah.
And he holds the tire
right
overhand, and I was like, what's going on? What's going on? And then he just switches into the backwards. I was like, oh my God, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. But that's the kind of thing that happened for us on the outside.
So when I see that clip, he did a cross-footed hitchhiker to backwards backpacker. That trick took him 3 years because he had just invented the hitchhiker and he had to learn to do a cross-footed hitchhiker. He had to learn how to do a backwards backpacker.
Yeah.
And then so it took 3 years, but that clip, that was the very first time he ever pulled it. And we were ecstatic for him. And he was it was 3 years of hard work. He finally got it. And he almost was like, okay, I never have to do this again.
Yeah, I got it on tape. It's fine.
It was so much work. But again, I remember I had a brand new pair of Pumas, blue suede Pumas. They were great. I rode in them for 2.5 hours and the sole split right down the middle. So I see Kev's glorious, after 3 years of hard work, this glorious success. And all I can think about is my Pumas.
My Pumas. No, it's pretty funny because I kind of understand what you mean with some of that, just because, we were talking about this earlier, we've been lucky enough to have been around some really awesome people, you know what I mean? People that have changed the game in one way or another in different aspects of not only just riding, but in life, you know what I mean? We've been around some really cool people. So, me watching, Luck make up some stuff, like when he did the Luck flip, the pedal flip, which is actually a Luck flip. And a lot of people don't understand that the crank flip that people do is not the same. The Luck flip is different. But just seeing stuff like that, you're just like, oh, that's just what they do. You know what I mean? So for me, it's like,
we can be real sticklers and dicks about it because we were there at the Genesis. But the main thing, I think, we grew up around some truly incredible riders that off the bike were incredible people.
100%.
And the biggest thing that I got from them was how unlimited you can be. Anything is possible if you put in the time, and you have to think outside the box in life.
100%.
And not just on the bike, but just in life. And that's the best thing I got from people, whether it was Kev or Mira or Miron or Dennis McCoy.
Absolutely.
You just went out and did it until you were successful. And it was a great way to grow up.
Definitely. And the good thing about what you're saying is that it kind of translates into how people have looked at their riding styles. You know what I'm saying? So we're here at a Flatland event, but one thing about the Hoods is that you guys have always ridden everything. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just this kind of rider, I'm just that kind of rider. You guys were such fiends for riding, you wanted to ride everything. You know what I mean? Oh, there's a dirt jump over here, we're going to hit it up. Oh, there's a skate park over here. Oh, we're going to ride this ramp today. You know what I mean? We're going to always ride Flatland because that's what we do. But that was cool for me to see because that's how I came up as well. So seeing that other people were so awesome at all these other styles, you know what I mean? Just seeing everything that all you guys did, and seeing you with the double decade session over there today, you know what I mean? And knowing your background in riding flat and riding street and all that shit, back in the day, it kind of seemed like you were the street guy. You know what I mean? You were the street guy, but now seeing you do double decades and watching you ride flat throughout the years, I know that's something that you've always done.
Yeah, well, honestly, when we were younger, it was hard to be good at Flatland for me because everybody was biting Kevin and Mark's tricks. Yeah. I didn't want to be in the parking lot next to them biting the tricks because I knew how frustrating it was for them. They're like, just make up your own tricks. I am. So,
What do you even say to that?
so-
How do you ride with Kevin Jones and
Right.
Mark Eaton and try and make up your own tricks? Like,
Yeah, and and if you think of something, you'll try it for 2 hours. Kevin would glance over you and knock it out.
he's like,
first
oh,
try.
you mean like this?
Yeah,
That's
so
cool. I was gonna do it backwards,
It
though.
was kind of tough, but like growing up, I was always the crazy street guy. I was the one. I'd say I was bone deaf before bone deaf. I was the one jumping off roof to roof. Launch ramp over 2 cars to flat ground.
That's accurate.
Like I was crazy, and then in the early '90s, I started really focusing on flat, and had to learn that. And I still keep riding everything. Like I jokingly say to people, like I was never great at any one aspect, but
That's
I was
debatable.
But I was good at all of them.
Yeah.
And like I tell people, like I can ride flatland better than Jamie Beswick, and I can ride vert better than Trevor Myers.
That's very accurate. I like that. I like that a lot. So all right, getting back to the jam, right? So you like the first jam, or actually I don't know if you've ever had permits for anything, but have you just been like, hey, we're gonna ride here until we get kicked out? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, I think
You've never worked with like the city or anything and tried to make it like a bigger event?
No, absolutely not. If you ask permission, they can say no.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
we got kicked out one year, and we all just moved to the hidden spot. So like realistically, I look at the calendar and check the sports team schedules when there's nothing going on. I randomly pick a day and just say, hey, this is the day, and show up. And we usually now, if cops drive through, they usually just look and say, I don't know what's going on here, but there's nothing on fire, nobody's fighting, nobody's drinking, there's not trash, and if we make the crowd separate, it's just going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
So like,
it's going to be a problem.
You guys are self-contained, we know where you are, and leave it alone.
Nice. That's awesome. Like, and again, this is, like I said, it's 30 years you guys have been doing this jam, and I'm very happy that I've gotten to be able to come to the last couple. You know what I mean? Like
I'm happy you're here.
When they happened in the past, like it was always, a time where I was on tour, or I was doing this, or I was doing that. You know what I mean? So some of my favorite events that I've ever been to have been York jams. And the great thing about this jam is that, like, and we were talking to some of the other people that were here earlier about, it's all accepting. You know what I mean? Like when you talk about riding, you're looking at it like you go to a flatland jam and there's a million different types of people that all have weird bike setups, and it's just like nobody's judging anybody. That's like, oh, that's a weird bike, I love it, what are you doing on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's one of the most positive things that I've been to in BMX.
It's funny because about an hour ago, these 4 women, they're out walking for exercise. They came into the parking lot. One of them was dancing to the music, having a good time. The other 2 were like, okay. And there was a 4th woman who looked scared. She's just looking at everybody out here, and she looked horrified. And she's shaking her. I could see her shaking her and say, I'm not going down there.
Yeah.
So I rode over to her and I said, hey, listen, you're free to come in. Like, everybody here is nice. They're accepting. It doesn't matter. Just, walk right through, or stay here, dance the music, check out the chaos.
Yeah.
And, I talked to them, and they're like, oh, wow, thank you. And, they watched us ride, they hung out a little bit, and then, they kept with their walking.
That's awesome, because I know for a fact, Brett, you've always been one of those guys that's very welcoming as far as like letting people watch you ride and like trying to get them involved in the sport. There's a lot of times where if I'm riding somewhere, especially riding flat, and sometimes I need to be in my zone. And if somebody's watching me, and like it kind of gets me weird sometimes. But then other times I think like, and not to be, a jerk or anything, but I'm like, Brett would like give this guy a sticker or something. You talk to this kid, he would try and get these people involved in the sport. So I applaud you for that. That's awesome.
Thanks. I'm just trying to have fun, and like I ride in a grocery store parking lot. There's always cars coming through, and sometimes when they're driving at me, I stop and give them the evil glare. Like, you motherfucker, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
But
why are you in my parking lot? Oh,
Yeah.
driving? Because it's a parking lot.
But for the most part, I try and be cool to people because they're like able to diffuse the tension by a wave. Hi, how you doing?
100%. But I just wanted to say you're a great ambassador for the sport of BMX altogether. Not only are you that, but you're also a great guy, and you've been a friend of mine for
Thanks,
a really
Phil.
long time. You know what I mean? And I just want to say thank you
dude,
for
props.
not only doing everything you've done in riding, but also having this jam and keeping the whole scene alive. You know what I mean? And trying to make sure everybody still comes together and does it. So thank you.
Well, no, thank you, Mel. I appreciate it. And like I said, I look up to you because you're one of the guys that went out there and can do everything. So, you know.
Hey, I try, but you know what I mean? Like, I have big shoes to fill, you know what I mean? Like, I look at you guys and I'm like, that's how you're supposed
Dude,
to do
I'm
it.
9.5, man.
Yeah,
I'm not that big.
Hey, Brett Downs, everybody.
Mel Cody.
Hey, my name's James McGraw, originally from Detroit, Michigan, live in Colorado nowadays, Monument. Been out there for 25 years, but been coming to York Jam for a long time.
Nice. So James is one of the guys that we've seen coming up through the Flatland ranks for years. You know what I mean? Years, and he's always consistently putting out footage. You know what I mean? Like,
I try.
and no, I mean, especially with like all the back wheel stuff that you do now. You know what I mean? That's
Yep.
amazing.
Thank
But one of the things that since we're here at the York Jam, this is the 30th anniversary of the York Jam. And about how many of these have you been to, do you think?
This is actually 18. I've been to 17 before this, so this is my 18th York Jam.
Nice.
Being from Michigan, we used to come out here. I actually grew up with Chase Gwynn
Okay.
when he was in Canada. So when he moved out here, me and Bill Newman used to come out and ride Montrose and everything with the guys. So York is almost like a second home in a way. I mean, I've been coming here a long time.
Yeah, so the York Jam is one of those events that's kind of like taken on a life of its own as far as, you know, flatland jams and just
Oh, yeah.
even BMX events in general, you know what I mean? And like, I only live a couple hours away, and it's like, I have to make the trip every
Right.
year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but that's something for me, and I know like that's why I do it. You've been coming out here for that many years. What does the York Jam mean to you? Like, it obviously has some importance to you because you keep doing it.
Here's the thing, like I run the AFA now, for example, and I did it not
American Freestyle Association, they were a huge sanctioning body that did contests across the country
States,
from back
yeah.
in the day. You know, they had, and those events were like,
Yeah, I'm about bringing the riders together. I
Yes.
love being in a big group of riders. I love flatland. It's just in my blood. I mean, BMX as a whole. And York Jam is an odd phenomenon. I mean, it is like maybe not the best parking lot, you know, maybe not all those things, but it's so many people come to this, and it's just such a good event, and there's so
Yes.
much flatland love in this event that it's like you can't help but want to be here. You know,
100%.
if you're a flatlander, this is like the Super Bowl of flatland.
Yes.
You know, you get to come out. Contests are one thing, but the jams are a whole nother. There's a better vibe. Everybody's just having fun. There's no stress. And there's really nothing like this. I mean, York Jam has been carrying the weight of the Pinnacle Jam for 30 years, and they still deliver on that promise. I mean, it's
100%.
an incredible event.
100%. It's so great. Like every year I come out and get to see all the people that I haven't seen in so long.
Right.
You know what I mean? Obviously, there are people that you're going to run into. Like I saw Chris Young today. I haven't seen Chris Young in
I know,
like
he's
25
back.
years, dude. Like since standard days. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, oh my God. And you get to run into these people, and Dave Norrie's here, and
Yep.
and Kevin's around, and people are riding and whatnot. I'm just like, dude, like this is such a great event. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier was that this may actually be, the York Jam might be the first actual jam that happened, you know what I mean, as an event,
I'm pretty sure it is.
right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Like, there's a lot of people who've done jams and things have taken off. One Love's doing pretty well, but this is definitely the original. I mean, I've been here where dudes drove from California and, you know, coming out here.
Yes.
I mean, it's like, I remember Andrew Arroyo cooking pancakes in the parking lot out of his van, you know? I mean, it's an insane history that goes along with this. And when we were in the pit, everybody doing shit down the big ass hill trying to do straddle ronies. I remember one of them where everybody's doing these Mach 10 straddle ronies down the hill, you know, and it's just crazy. The history of tricks that have been done here,
Yeah.
the riders who've come through. One of my favorite things, I came here with Phil Dolan in 02, and we get here, and Kevin comes over, he's like, oh yeah, you do nose wheelies, and then just Kevin did a nose wheelie, you know, and I'm just like, it's so cool. And Phil was ecstatic to meet Kevin, you know,
Yeah,
I mean, it's
100%.
like, it's just, there's so much fun here. There's nowhere else you're gonna go and have the level of riding that we have here.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. Obviously, you're, you know, a fan of Flatland. You've grown up the same way as I did, waiting for the Dorkin videos to come out.
Yep.
Let me ask you, I want to ask you two video-related questions. First, is there a moment where your mind was blown? And I know there have been many of them, but can you
Yeah.
think of one time that you saw something in the videos that you were just like, I didn't even believe that was possible.
Dorkin
like,
videos?
In the Dorkin videos, in the
Okay.
series. Like throughout all the videos, what was just one moment?
I was here when they premiered the video in the movie theater. And I mean, obviously I grew up with Chase, but like that video part with Chase was just the way it was presented, you know? I mean, Kevin doing backwards stuff down the hill blew my mind. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm floored by it. But just the music, everything Mark did in that edit, it just put an energy and vibe into that where you're just like, oh my God, this
Yeah,
is good,
right?
you know? And the delivery of it was everything. I mean, it just, to me, that was one of the most pinnacle things. Probably because I was such good friends with him too, and it just meant so much to see one of my friends be so progressive.
Sure.
But yeah,
And also-
it was incredible.
Also, both of those guys are up for Hall of Fame inductions this year. So
Yeah.
Kevin and Mark. And it could be argued that they both deserve to be in as riders and industry heads just for
Industry is where I'd go with Mark as well, but yes, definitely.
you know what I mean? Just for the impact that they've had on
I
riding.
competed against, in like 87, it was like me, Huddleston, and Mark Eaton were like the tops in our expert class. And I would have to go against them. And I remember Mark doing turbine like dump trucks. And I was just like blown away by
Right.
those, man. Mark to me has been always one of the most progressive riders on the planet Earth. And his videos with like live where he's doing all his street
Yep.
land and everything else. I mean, he
Streetland, I like
originated-
that. I like that.
He
Streetland, you heard it here first,
a
people.
lot of that writing.
Mhm.
I mean, he is an innovator beyond comprehension in my eyes as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's my second Dorkin in York video series question. Which Kevin era did you like best? So Kevin, like riding his shitty Haro.
Throwing his radio through the basketball hoop,
Kevin,
man.
yeah.
There you go.
Dyno Kevin, GT Kevin, you know what I mean? Like Hoffman Bikes Kevin, which Kev, like,
The early days were for me because it was just when we were like blown away.
Yeah.
You know, I was in the blue floor when he did the Hitchhiker. I was standing right on that floor watching it with my own eyes. I remember me and Bill Newman are like, yeah, we got to get home, dude. We got to fucking work on this trick. It is so crazy.
Yeah.
We're mind blown. It melted our minds. But yeah, I mean, Kevin with the death trucks and the, you know, the radio through the basketball hoop. Those
Yep.
era of videos for me were just pinnacle, man.
Yes.
I mean, we were like, because you go to a contest or something and you get a big group of people together and it's like the magazine would be there, but you wouldn't see anything for 2-3 months.
Yeah, right.
You know, so it's like seeing Kevin's like he's secretive, he kept it under wraps, and then just would drop a bomb on us, and we were just floored.
100%.
And I just remember like, you know, I mean, I'm stoked to be able to say I'm friends with the guy, but he is still like a hero. You
Yeah,
know? I mean,
and he's so
incredible.
humble. He's
Yeah,
super
he is.
humble. He's super humble about everything, you know. And for those of you that don't know about the Dorkin in New York video series, and I
You don't
can't
know
imagine,
Flatland.
I can't imagine you're watching this and you wouldn't know that. But check it out. There's actually a box set that's available. You can get it online. But Dorkin 1, like Dorkin in New York, the original video came out in what, like 86, 87, something like that.
87, yeah.
And they've been putting out videos. I think they're up to what, 10? 10 was the last one.
Yeah. It's 1989. I mean, we didn't know what else we could do
Yeah,
on a bike,
that.
you know?
But do yourself a favor if you're a fan of Flatland, which you should be, because if you're not, you're messing up. But check out the Dorkin New York video series. Okay, there's a lot of great riding in there. And have you ever had any clips in Dorkin videos?
No, I haven't, man.
Right? Like that's like a bucket list thing, right? So I grew up watching these videos, and I'm like, oh my God, if I could just go there, and I finally got to go there. I'm like, oh my God, I can ride in the same parking lot. If I could just get in one of these videos, but I never did. And Luck and Joe got in the videos, and I got really jealous. So I'm a little butthurt about that.
I got BMX Magazine's pictures of me at York Jam.
Nice.
So,
I got a
you
picture
know,
out of York Jam too.
So I got some association. but
Riding
yeah,
Street.
you know.
Hey.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, dude. They're exclusive, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Well, listen, I want to thank you for making the trip
Oh, yeah,
out here
man.
and
Thanks,
taking a little
man.
time to talk to us. And James McGraw, people, York Jam 2021.
Have a good one.
All right, so we're here today talking with Dane Beardsley. Dane, I'm not sure where you're from. Dane, where are you from?
Originally from Lake Orion, Michigan, but I've lived in Athens, Georgia for about 15 years now. So
great.
Athens, Georgia's my home now. So yeah.
Nice. So for those of you that don't know, Dane is an amazing flatland rider, but he's also what you would call an all-around rider. He rides everything. He rides dirt, seen you riding, ramps and whatnot, and he also incorporates that into his flatland style. We're out here today at the York Jam. This is the 30th anniversary of the York Jam. So,
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know that.
yes,
That's awesome.
This is the
This
30th,
is the 30th
year.
one.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
30
So
years.
there have been,
That's crazy.
times in between where, for one reason or another, it hasn't worked out. But they've religiously been doing this jam for 30 years. I have to assume that you being a Flatlander, you grew up watching the Dorking in New York videos.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think when I started riding in the late 90s, and the Dorking in New York set was still there. It was starting to go away from that, but that influence that those videos had has been in every video ever since. So,
Nice.
yeah,
100%.
definitely
100%.
watched them, yeah.
It's just amazing that, the same thing, I grew up watching those videos from the beginning when they started making them, but being able to come to a jam and ride some of the same spots that these guys ride, and you see in video clips that are filmed in this very parking lot, you're like, oh my God, it's so amazing.
Yeah, I've said it a few times today, you come to York and you ride, and you can just feel the history of BMX in this town in the air.
100%.
That sounds kind of lame, but just rolling around anywhere, you can just feel that, you just know that somebody at some point with a completely different, a teenager or whatever, like Kevin as a teenager, or any of the other amazing riders that came from here, were just pedaling around this town. You can just feel the energy of BMX in this
Absolutely.
town. It's awesome. It really makes me stoked to ride. So, yeah.
So is this the first time you've been to the jam, or?
No, this is the third time I've been.
Okay.
Yeah. I came, and every time I come, I try to stay for a few days. So I've been in New York for 3 days now. So,
Oh, nice.
I like to, really get in and
Absolutely.
ride a
You get to
bunch.
ride the skate park at all?
I did, yeah. I rode the skate park the other day, and hopefully they said there's a jam there tomorrow. So
Yeah, so they do.
that up
So
too.
for the jam, there's always, I guess it's like a weekend thing. So there's a pre-jam
Yep.
jam that happens on Friday evening at the Secret Spot, and then there's today's event, and then for the people that stay overnight, there's a morning skate jam, or a morning jam at the park.
Yeah, cool.
So I don't know if I'm going to stick around. I'm going to try to, but I'd really like to hit that up. I've been to that park before, but
Yeah, it's sick.
but this is one of those things where it's like I can't miss the York Jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If I didn't live 11 hours away, I would be here every year. But I still that's still really not an excuse.
No, the fact that you live 11 hours away and you made it, you know what I mean? That shows you how important it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
This is a great event.
I don't really know if you can consider yourself a Flatlander if you don't come to New York once every 5 years. Especially if you especially if you live in America.
Yes.
I'm sorry. You might not be a Flatlander if you don't come to York once every 5 years and ride in this terrible parking lot.
You heard it first. Dane Beardsley, people. Thanks, Dane.
Maybe that was too honest. But
No,
but
we
whatever.
love the honesty, and you're exactly right. Thank you.
It's like a religious experience. It really is.
We're here with Chris Young. Chris and I go way back. We were teammates on the Standard Army back in the day. Haven't seen this guy in easily 25 years probably.
Yep.
And somehow we found each other at the York Jam here today. Now this is the 30th anniversary of the York Jam. You're aware of that, right?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
Yep.
You got all your gear up, you're good? You know what I mean?
I'm good.
So, you being a Flatlander from, I would consider Ohio East Coast. It's like
Yeah.
not Midwest at all.
Yes. Yep.
But how many years have you been coming to the York Jam? And what does the York Jam mean to you?
If you ride flatland, this is where you come. From the videos to being able to be around all different riders from all over, and to be around Kevin and Eaton and Chase, it's super intense and an amazing experience. So if you rode flatland, you at least made the trek once.
Absolutely. And me, I only live a few hours from here, but I haven't been able to come to all the York Jams just because, they would happen at weird times. We'd be on the road, we're doing stuff, so you can't make them all. But I feel like I've been blessed enough to have been able to make it for the last couple. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
for
it's always
sure.
good
Yep.
for me just to not only reconnect with everybody, you know what
Yeah,
I mean, and
yeah,
see all the
yeah.
people that I haven't seen in a really long time,
Yeah.
but also to keep pushing the narrative of like Flatland being one of those things that's really like welcoming to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's no judgment here. People
Yeah.
are doing all different types of tricks. They got all different kinds of bikes. They got like everybody is a weird mixture of the whole BMX scene, and this is where we all come together and everybody's cool.
It really is like a testament from the 90s to where we are now with the new school. But you got all the way from like Dave Norrie here,
Right?
who's keeping it, just staying in his lane with all that, and
Yeah.
which no one does. He just takes what he does to another level, to your mid-school guys, to new school guys. So it like Mel says, you know, it's so welcoming.
It's pretty
Be
cool
able
because
to
like
have fun and see everybody, especially, you know, people of our age.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us have grown outside of riding because of families and careers and stuff like that.
absolutely.
So coming back to this too, like, and seeing everybody makes you just want to ride even more.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, like I can't wait to go to the next event.
Nice.
So-
I definitely put in more time in the parking lot over the last month just trying to get ready for it. You know what I mean? And then I come out on my streeter because my Flatland bike's still in the car. So I'm like, come on.
You know, it don't matter, man. You know, it's like you say, you come here and you got the guys with the bunny hop pole
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, in the launch ramps, and we're just all out here having fun. Like, it's
Nice.
super rad. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you.
Thank you, man.
No,
Love
it
you
was.
guys.
I already told you, man. I already told you it was awesome running into you. I haven't seen you in
Yeah,
a while, dude,
yep.
and it's great.
And you got the
Amazing.
fresh shirt.
Yes, he hooked it up.
Sure.
Got the good stuff.
Right.
Chris Young, everybody. All right, so we are here today with Flatland legend Dave Norrie. Dave, say hello to the people.
Hello, thank you.
So, I don't know if people have been checking, but there's been a resurgence with a lot of like the retro stuff coming back in BMX lately. So there's been like the Haro lineage line. You know,
Right.
they put out a lot of the old frames, which were one of my favorite Flatland frames that I ever had was the Haro Groundmaster. I got that when I was at Woodward, and I loved that bike. I loved it. It was amazing. But not to fan out on you too much, but you know what I mean. But I just wanted to say, you know, being at Woodward, getting to meet some of the guys that are the hoods, you know what I mean? Like being out there with Mark Eaton, being out there with Leif Valen. The York Jam has always been like a really big thing for me. You know, growing up as a Flatlander and living in Pennsylvania, this was always one of the events that I wanted to get to every year. And I didn't always make it, but I try and make it out whenever I can.
Yeah.
What brings you out today?
Well, just that same reason. I mean, the vibe here is amazing, and I've been watching it for years, and this is actually my first time coming.
Really? This is your first? Welcome. You picked a great time to come. This
Yeah.
is the 30th anniversary. You know that.
Yeah, and I also, well, the weather was great, and everything just lined up. It was pretty stacked schedule for me right now because I have old school in 2 weeks, and 2 weeks ago I was over at the Nowhere BMX compound in Nebraska. So it was a pretty tight schedule, but I just couldn't miss another York Jam because you never know if it's the last.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. So last year, I remember, or 2019, they were like, "Yo, next year's going to be the 30th," and then COVID hit, and nobody was allowed to do anything. So it
Right.
was just like this event being here today was a great, you know, comeback for everybody. You know, this
Yeah.
is the first time that I've been. Well, the first Flatland event that I've been to, flat specific, you know what I mean, in a
Right.
while. So it's really cool to get to see everybody. I've seen people that, you know, I haven't seen in 25 years, you know what I
Nice.
mean?
Yeah.
So it's awesome. And I know I've never met you, but I've been a fan of your riding from forever ago. You know what I
Thank
mean? And
you.
you still pop up at different events and whatnot, so it's cool to see you out here
Yeah.
at this event specifically.
Yeah, it's great to be here. And like when I rolled up this morning, I was just super pumped because I knew there's going to be a lot of faces that I remember meeting over the years that I hadn't seen for a while. I haven't made a lot of East Coast events in a while. Like when I came back, I turned 50, and that was 7 years ago, actually.
Wow,
So
congrats.
I'm gonna be
Congrats.
57 in December. So when I hit 50, I started to really like ramp it up and get to more events and whatnot. So I wanted to like check that off my list, and definitely would love to be back.
Awesome. Well, like I said, it's amazing that you're here. I mean, obviously, you know, I grew up on plywood hoods and everything, so like I'm always in awe when I see those guys. But you're somebody that I've only seen like in magazines and
Oh,
videos, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
right.
for you to be out here, that's pretty amazing. You know what I mean? That's like, you know, like Kareem showing up at somebody's like basketball camp. You know what I mean? So it's pretty
Okay.
awesome
All
to
right.
have you here today.
Well, thank you.
No, not a problem. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, for sure.
So have you been watching like the Dork in New York video series?
No, I haven't necessarily been watching them as of recently. I watched
No,
them
I
way
mean
back.
like when they came
yeah,
out, did
yeah,
you
way
pay
back in the
attention
day.
to it?
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure. And I just remember like watching them and being both super excited for how Flatland was excelling, and also really like set back with, wow, like my writing's not at that level, you know. And actually, Kevin shared some really kind words with me at a show that we did together. It was a Skyway show and a horror show, and we happened to they booked 2 shows the same day, so it was awesome.
How awesome is that? Like
And
to
we
be
were-
a kid at
we
that
were
show,
talking about
Skyway
today-
and horror?
Yeah, we were talking about it today, and we're trying to remember where it was. He thinks it might have been somewhere in Delaware, but anyhow, he just gave me some words of encouragement. Was like, Nori, never stop doing your style and what you
Yeah,
do.
100%.
And I just totally remember that. And then I think after the old school got like old enough, it became a little bit more, I don't know, just it was new for a lot of writers. So
Yes.
that kind of brought more excitement to it. And still to this day, like I taught Maddie Kramer how to do a Vanderroll today. He was so pumped, and so hopefully he's going to bring that to some of the new school writers, you know.
Nice.
And I just appreciate that kind of mix of writing and freestyle.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things where with Flatland specifically, I feel like that's one of the areas where people are willing to let people do what they do. You know what I mean? Like you have all different types of riders out here doing all different types of tricks, riding all different types of bikes and just weird stuff. And we look at it like, that's weird. I love it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah, yeah.
I love it. Whereas some of the events you go to and if you're not the cool guy, then people trip. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
with Flatland, I think it's awesome. And I'm super excited that the York Jam still brings out the amount of people that it does from all different areas. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you flew out here. Where are you living right now?
I live in Oregon, Ashland, Oregon. So
Okay.
yeah, I flew out here yesterday, and I'll be here till tomorrow afternoon. But yeah,
Awesome.
Yeah, I just
Awesome.
made the trip to make it happen.
So it's been said once or twice during interviews today where if you're a Flatlander, you have to make it to the York Jam at least once in your life.
I would recommend it for sure. Put it on your list because yeah, it's awesome.
Nice.
And wait, I just have one other thing I wanted to say, which is Joe Sickman and I have been doing these contests, and we're trying to like bring some like crossover between just park and street and dirt riders, and we just even want to call it freestyle, like freestyle without any obstacles. We're just doing tricks on the ground.
Yeah.
And so we did a contest series, and then we showed it at this Cornhuck Jam in Nebraska, and a lot of the riders hadn't seen all of the Flatland,
Yeah.
and it was really good. So I feel like there's more of that, where we all Flatland. Like it's
Absolutely.
not, there is a segment of where yeah, you can go off and really get to the point where you're right in the parking lot till wee hours of the night. But there's also just going to learn a foot jam.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And that's where we start. So I think it's good that BMX is coming around full circle.
100%. I feel like now more so than ever, you're seeing a crossover between people that are doing different types of riding that they don't really separate themselves and say, I'm this or I'm that. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
look at a dude like Matthias Dandois, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? And like amazing flatlander, but he's taken his flatlanding to new heights where he's, doing 360s and stuff onto obstacles, nose wheeling across.
Yeah,
and you
exactly.
see even street riders today doing crazy nose wheelie stuff, and it's like, that's flatland. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You're
yeah.
doing nose wheelie to tail lip, that's flatland. You're
Yeah.
doing nose wheelie to bar spin, that's flatland. So people are just more accepting of just riding now, and I'm glad that it's getting to that, because for a while it was like, oh, I only do this or I only do that. So I'm glad that
Yeah,
things
it's
are
kind of coming full
switching up.
circle because that's kind of where it started in the roots.
100%, like people just rode because they rode. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It's like, oh, we got a ramp today? Cool, we're gonna ride this ramp.
Right.
Oh, we're riding, because we ride flat every day because we're doing that. But
Right.
oh, there's some dirt jumps over here, we're gonna hit those up today. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's cool that people are starting to look at riding more openly these days.
Yeah,
That's
for
awesome.
sure. Well, good. Thanks so much, man.
No, thank you for sharing some time with us.
Yeah, of course.
Dave Nori, people, the legend.
See you guys. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with a treat for you today. We have a guy some of you may have heard of. What's your name again? Is it, Freddie Jones? Freddie
Kevin
Jones. We're
Jones.
here with Freddie Jones, a.k.a. Kevin Jones. Kevin here is, if you don't know, you need to ask somebody. But since we're talking about the York Jam, I'm glad that we actually got a chance to speak to one of the guys here that has been so influential in not only just riding in general, but Flatland specifically. We're all here at the 30th anniversary of the York Jam. From what I hear, this is the oldest running Flatland event. Does that make sense to you? Can you?
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know of any other ones that long.
Yeah, I don't think that anything, like, I don't remember ever hearing about a jam before the York Jam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we've been asking everybody, like, what the York Jam means to them. But since you're on the inside of this, I want to tell you a little bit about what the York Jam means to me.
All right.
You know, me being a Flatlander growing up in Pennsylvania, finding out that some of the greatest guys to ever grace the pedals live in my state was a mind blower for me. All right.
Yeah.
And then figuring out that they only lived a couple hours away, and then seeing all the videos, and then it was just like, these guys are opening up this spot to me. Like, they want me to come out and ride with them. And I was like, I can't believe it. Like, I'm at Mount Rose. Like, I'm riding here. I can't believe it. And I was tripping out. You know what I mean? So it's amazing that this event still happens, and it's still maintained that same vibe of just openness and being like, accepting everybody in, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you are like, I know people fan out on you all the time. I know this, and I know you probably are sick of it, but I just want you to know that it's awesome that you're as humble as you are. Every time I see you, you're always very cordial. You speak to me, you know what I mean? It's all good, and it's never on some like, I'm Kevin Jones, you know what I mean? Like, and that's awesome. But I want you to know, it's awesome seeing you here riding every single time. You're not one of those guys that just shows up and hangs out. Like, you're out putting in work.
Well, not today.
Well,
Didn't
come on,
really
man.
get riding today.
Come on. So 30th anniversary for the York Jam. What makes you guys keep doing it?
Everybody keeps coming, basically. But like in the beginning, you know, we would have locals, you know, like from close by, and they'd be like, we want to come ride sometime, you know? And we're like, all right, we'll hook it up, and it'd be random people. And eventually we were like, why don't we coordinate it so everybody that doesn't know each other that wants to come and just set a date. And that was pretty much how the first jam, you know, came about. And that was pretty good, and then that's the word spread, you know, the same thing. Just people just kept coming, and like the original time, probably like we didn't plan on it would go very long or even another year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just worked out.
That's awesome.
I mean, it's awesome. It's definitely like the greatest thing in New York is to have the jam. It's the coolest event for us, like
it's amazing.
for
And
all of the riding time, really.
we've talked to a lot of people, and some people have, you know, traveled from across the country to get here. We just spoke to Dave Newry, who, you know, flew in from Oregon. You know what I mean?
So
like,
awesome. I couldn't believe he was here.
so
last
sick,
night.
right?
He
Like,
just
so
snuck up
sick.
behind me, and I'm like, holy shit.
You know, this is one of those events where
Never
it's
been
like,
here.
I love it because you get to run into so many different people. Like, I saw Chris Young. I haven't seen Chris Young since back in the standard days. This is probably like 25 years ago since I've seen him. You know what I
long for
mean?
me
And,
as well,
and I
like,
never met Dave.
About 20 years for me.
So amazing. So amazing. So what's a day-to-day with Kevin Jones like anymore?
Currently, day to day, I mean,
I know you're doing family life. You like
not
everybody's
much.
growing up.
I mean, yeah, I'm hanging with the family. I got a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old and the wife.
Congratulations.
So basically that, like just living the home life. Not a whole lot of riding. This year has been like my worst year, but I plan on, you know, trying to finish off the year a little bit with some more riding.
Nice.
But
So
it's a little, I got a little depressed for this year, I guess. Like when I wasn't riding, you know?
yeah.
It's pretty tough. Like when I'm, you know, I just don't think about bikes when I'm not doing it. Like if somebody's calling up and they're all excited, I'm like, I can't hear it because I'm not doing it. But like when I'm doing it, it's definitely like, you know, the best time ever.
Yeah.
So I just need to get back to that, really.
Riding
The
is one of
jam
those.
helps for sure. Like
100%.
if
100%.
this jam wasn't here, I wouldn't have rode yesterday, and then I wouldn't be thinking about riding tomorrow, and then the next week. You know, like so that might spur it on. You know, I didn't even really know the jam was going to be this year till whenever.
Yeah,
in the
when
middle
it
of
got
the summer
announced.
when it was posted, but. And then I was thinking, like, I hope people come, you know, like, because sometimes.
Come on,
later
people are gonna come out. If you say there's gonna be a York Jam, people will come out because
Yeah,
there's.
but sometimes it was, you know, not a whole lot of people due to that it wasn't in the summer. So I was shocked that there was this many people this year. That was awesome. Like all day, I'm just like, holy shit, there's so many people. Like
Yeah, there were a lot of people today.
it was great. Like
I feel like there's not too many Flatland events, you know what I mean? Like Flatland specific events that aren't structured around a competition, you know what I mean? That brings
Yeah.
out a different type of people. Like for the jam here, everybody's out just doing it for the love, you know what I mean? You got dudes out here that are street riders and dirt jumpers that are, you know, I'll tool around on my bike and try and learn
that's
some
great,
tricks,
too.
you know
I'm
what I mean?
glad that stuff goes on, you know? It's not just so flat.
100%.
Feel free to come and build a ramp and jump it. That's why you're here.
And I don't think that I've ever been to a York Jam that didn't have some kind of a ramp set up where
Yeah.
people are just doing whatever on it, you know what I mean?
I had a little ramp I forgot to bring, but then I was like, oh, cool, somebody already brought something.
Nice. So you're on the Big Daddy here today, huh?
I know, that's probably the coolest thing that happened for me in the longest time.
So for those of you who don't know, and I can't imagine you wouldn't, Kevin here had the signature Flatland bike on Hoffman Bikes, his signature frame, the Big Daddy. And I guess they've been doing a lot of reissues with like bringing stuff back. Is there like did they do a year thing, like where it's like 20 years or something like that?
What, for this?
I don't know. I know that they've re-released that one. They have the Taj out. You know what I mean? Like they've been doing it.
The Big Daddy was supposed to come out many years ago, and it just kind of didn't happen. Finally, it did. I don't know how many years it had been, but
Nice.
I was super stoked. I mean, it was maybe like 8 years in the works. Like, not in the works, but like till it finally came. So I almost just thought it was never going to happen. So when Matt said he did it, I was loving it.
That's
like,
pretty
I didn't
awesome.
have a bike that I liked either, you know, and I was kind of like, oh, like I don't even know what to buy. And then finally I got this. Now I'm stoked. Like I'll be on one of these for the rest of the time.
So you
know,
haven't
till
been
I'm
riding
dead.
a Big Daddy this whole time? Like I just imagine that's
No,
what you've been riding. Like you just had a stockpile of those frames.
No, that stopped in like '96. That was done with the Big Daddy.
That's amazing. So it's pretty cool to see, you know, Kevin Jones on his signature Big Daddy frame at the York Jam. This is pretty epic, and I'm just saying, like I'm fanning out a little bit here. But Kevin, I want to thank you for taking a little bit of time and speaking with us,
No
man.
problem, Al.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
People, the man, the myth, the legend, Kevin Jones. So basically, we're out here at the close of the 30th anniversary for the York Jam, one of the, if not the most prolific Flatland-specific BMX event ever. We've been talking to a lot of people today and talking about what the jam has meant to them, how important it is, why they keep coming back, how many times they've been here. But you, being on the inside, I want to hear your views on how today went.
Okay. Well, this being the 30th anniversary jam is pretty awesome. It was the perfect day, the perfect weather. I know, like my perspective of the jam is set up, get in the mix, and then 7 p.m. comes and it's dark. I'm like, wait, what happened to the day?
Yeah.
But I'm in it, and it's like, that's my thing. Like, I love just throwing the jams and like the music part, setting the tone, setting the vibe.
Yo, I love that. That's exactly what you do, because like the whole day it seemed like it was a live action Dorkin video. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just like seeing all the faces, people that I haven't seen in 25 years, you know what I mean? 25 plus.
Yep.
You know what I mean? In a lot of cases, and just having everybody still coming together and doing this jam. So I want you to know that growing up as a Flatlander in PA, it was hugely like amazing that the scene
This
here
was
in
going
York
on,
was
right?
not even the jam, not even just the jam, but the people. You know what I mean? Like the best bike riders in the world, like are in my state. Like, oh my God! So that was awesome for me, and seeing the videos. The fact that you guys turned it into an event where you're inviting people to come to your spots and ride with you. You know what I mean? Like that's amazing. That's like, this is a vibe like no other I've seen. Like sometimes you go to the trails or the street spots, and it's like, if you're not the cool guy, they vibe you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here you have so many different types of
Yeah.
people that are on some weird ass bikes, but like the weirder the better.
That's the
You know
better-
what I
yeah,
mean?
that's
Like,
the
you're just
thing.
like, yes, what are you gonna do with that thing? You know what I mean? So it's amazing, and I want to thank you personally
Thanks.
for continuing
Yeah, you're
to do
welcome.
this. It's awesome. It's awesome. So I know this is a loaded question when I ask, but don't even think that you're ever gonna try and stop doing this.
Yeah,
right?
I
Like,
have
you
no
can't.
interest. I have no interest in stopping
Okay.
it. Like, well, I'm not like, yeah, you know what? We did it enough. No. Why stop it? Like, keep it going.
You heard him. You
Keep
heard
it
him here.
going.
He said it. We have it on tape now. Awesome.
The bottom line is that this is like such an easy. It's not an event. It's like a pop up. It's like a, hey, you available on the 2nd? Come on out. And then like we set a date. You know, the other thing about York Jam, that is important is it's always been on like on the DL. It's always been like, you don't know if it's going to get busted. It's been shut down. Dude, we've been shut down just because there was a game change up on the football field here.
I was here that year.
And everybody, we had to roll to the other spot, the hidden spot. So we don't like, we just kind of roll the dice. We roll the dice, and that's how we do it. And
You really did luck out with a perfect day. You know what I mean? It was the weather was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So psyched. And I didn't even know. I mean, I guess I kind of did on the sneak, but like this is a weekend long thing. You know what I mean? Like people show up on Friday for the pre-jam.
Yeah,
jam,
everybody comes on the Friday.
and
yeah.
then there's
then they ride tomorrow the skate park or
Exactly. So then the skate park. So
session here or whatever. They like, why roll out? You know, there's other stuff to do.
it's amazing. I love it, and I'm super psyched that it's still going on. So what else is up with you, man?
Well, tomorrow I go to Las Vegas for 2 months to shoot a poker reality show. That's random.
Very random. I love it when you talk to somebody and it's just like, hey, what's up? And they're like, nothing. And it's like, oh, yeah, I got to fly out to Vegas tomorrow.
Like, tomorrow.
Oh, I'm shooting this thing. It's like, what? How are you just, like, tell us about this.
Well,
you can't just.
I mean, it's a YouTube reality show on the world, based on the World Series of Poker. And I got asked if I was interested to do it, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I'm like, not only am I shooting it, I'm editing it. It's going to be a grind, super grind, but I live in a mansion in Las Vegas. 6 days a week, I'm shooting and editing. It's like going to be a boot camp, paid boot camp.
Do you need a
assistant?
a PA?
Yeah, I do.
I can help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, dang, yo, that's amazing.
No,
that's
it's
amazing.
cool. It's cool.
So one of the
And then,
things. No, go ahead.
No, and then like I'm trying to juggle my DJ stuff too. That's that's what I've been doing: shooting, editing, and DJing.
Cool. Yeah, I see the streams, man. It's awesome. One of the things that we've been talking about a lot today is how so many of the people that are here are really like influential in so many different facets of their lives. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of really great bike riders here, but there's a lot of really awesome people here. You know what I mean? And when you start talking to people about things that they're doing, and sometimes it's just like, it's easy to say, oh, nothing, I'm just kind of doing the same old thing, but like, you're doing it. You know what I mean? You're still doing it. And there's a whole lot of people that were out here today that are still doing it. You know what I mean? And I think that when you bring this whole thing together, it just gets better and better, man. Right. Better and better, because now everybody's having families, you know what I mean? We're bringing their kids up into this thing. So I want to say to you, specifically from me, thank you.
Yeah.
You've been an inspiration and a friend, and I love you.
Thank you.
Marquee, people.
Kevin, start breakdancing.
Yo, that'd be the next run of injuries that happens. Like all these old dudes out here.
We were just talking about that. He goes, if I breakdance, I'm dead. He's like, I'm just gonna kill my body.
And we're working on a budget here because we only got one mic, so we gotta share it. You know what I mean? It's like old school R&B days. Everybody comes back to one mic. No matter where you're dancing, you gotta come back to the mic.
Right on.
Are we getting the dirty end?
I mean, you tell me. You know what I mean? We could always put out some other shit. The uncut.
No, interviews always, you got to roll for the this.
Yes, 100%.
So the dirty end. It's like just.
We all bow to his greatness.
Thanks, man. Thanks, guys. I can't see you, but
Factor Freestyle.
Fury right there.
Factor Freestyle.
Factor Freestyle. York, Pennsylvania, with the population of approximately 43,000, has the most BMX Hall of Fame nomination per capita. Is that fact or freestyle?
Yo, that's amazing.
No, that's fact, I think.
That was fast.
I feel like it's
Because you
fact.
got Mark Eden.
It's definitely
Mark
fact.
Eden's on the
I would
list
say
and
it's
Kevin
fact.
Jones is on the list.
Yeah.
I figured it was because you were asking it. I wouldn't have known.
No, that's definitely
But I
fact.
did know Mark was there, so I was like, oh.
So
There
how?
is 43,900 people in York, according to Google. When I searched.
Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't even have known that.
Do you know how the history of Pennsylvania and what it's done with BMX? Not only Flatland, you got dudes like J-Bone and the whole ECD crew with the trail situation going on and legitimizing trails and the whole dirt jumping thing from the POW days back in the day. Those are all East Coast dudes that moved out there that blew that scene up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that people don't know. Like, I'm proud of my state, dude. Like, I'm proud. Like, PA has done a lot.
Yeah.
I rock with it. One of the greatest. What? I love this guy.
Thanks, Kevin.
No, I didn't see you at all. I just saw Trey.
Is this the live mic?
Yeah.
Because he's like,
I can hear you guys. We're good.
okay.